Wow, my God. All the medals.
And here's 2 of his trophies. He has a lot more trophies. He has so many more medals. It's crazy. Half his house in the beach is filled with medals. It's insane how many things he's won. And last year he beat 3 records in his age group.
I'll be honest, Dada, like Blake, has kept him young.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
He's so crazy. He's a mess. But he takes care of them too a lot. It's kind of, it's kind of like Chinese family actually, with the
Yes.
grandparents taking care of the kids.
Yes.
That's pretty much how it works here. Because my brother and his wife, they work a lot. And so my parents take care of Blake.
This, I just don't know. I just know he has a lot of medals. That's all I know. I know some of the places he swam. Taiwan. He swam, I think it was 3 miles in 50-degree water. So they stopped the competition. He won, and he's gonna show you that trophy. It's the biggest trophy he has.
So this was my very first trophy. 16 years old, 1948. A 3-mile swim. And I was just a kid, and I had swam in lakes at home, and I thought I was a pretty good swimmer, but I wasn't sure. So what happened was, I entered this race, and guess what? I got in 3rd place. Now this was 3rd place. The 1st place winner, I think, had a trophy kind of like that. And I said, man, I would sure like to get a trophy like that. So after I finished my 3rd place, you know what I did? I went home and I started practicing harder and harder, and I swam more. And for a whole year I swam like that. So then, when I finally got back, I was ready to swim this race, and they told me, we don't know if we're going to run the race because the water's too cold. In fact, it was so cold, it was kind of foggy out there. And the way we ran the race from the beach, the whole length of Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, and then we'd come back in and come back out, back home again. And when I got in, I started swimming, okay? And I was about 4th, and I kept swimming, and I kept swimming, and I said, man, it's cold. And all of a sudden, some guy said, hey, you know what? I said, what? That other guy just pulled out. You're in 3rd place. I said, wow, that means at least I may get a trophy like this. And I said, I'll keep going. And all of a sudden, the guy came in and said, uh-oh, that other guy pulled out. The guy that was in the lead, he pulled out. The guy that's in 2nd place is in 1st place, and you're in 2nd place. I said, wow, that means there may be a trophy in between that. And then finally they said, you know what? He said, you're in 1st place. I said, yikes. So I got to finish this race. So I finished it. And now, when I pulled in, they took me to a shower, and they put boiling hot water all over me because I was, what do you call that?
Hypothermic.
I was hypothermic. I was so cold, so cold. So when they presented the trophy was presented not at that time, that night on the bandstand in front of a whole bunch of people. They had the awards for the swim that day. And then that's when I got up and they awarded me this big trophy. And I was very, very happy to get that. Today what you see is a fence here. The reason we have a fence here is because of geese. Geese come into the lake, then they come up here and they poop all over the place. The only way to keep them out is to put some type of a fence up. That also discouraged me from swimming. I used to swim this every day. I'd come home from work, jump the lake,
Wow.
swim up and down the lake.
So what's in the lake? Fish?
Fish, yeah.
And anything else?
Spring-fed, carp, bass, big lot of bass
Okay.
in here. Yeah.
So you swim alone?
Alone?
Okay.
Yeah. I was confident in myself. Maybe would swim up and down this way, and I would swim that way and up and that way and back and try and chase her, see who won the race at the end. We had sailboats here. Very safe to have sailboats. Can't go too far. There's the end of the lake is up there, but from here it looks like it could go on forever, you know? We used to have a great time here. When we were younger, very much younger, we would have parties here, the neighborhood parties. The neighbors would gather together, and we would have swimming races, sailboat races, all kinds of races and games. Debbie could show you these in scrapbooks down at the beach, but I took them all to the beach.
It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day.
Do you swim in the sea a lot?
My dad does.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my dad. Every time we used to come to the beach, he could never sit still. We'd all be laying on the beach and hanging out, and he would go always beyond the waves and swim up and down and drive all the lifeguards crazy. They hated it.
So did you?
Not really. No, I don't like swimming in ocean water. You can't see anything. It's like you don't want to hit anything. No, but he swam open water a lot. When we were kids, he swam 10 miles. In a Jack King, it was an invitational. So we would go out there in the rowboat to direct him, so he wouldn't swim out. So because you can't really see. So my brother and I went out there, rowed the boat. I had to row the boat. We were fighting, yeah. But my dad won. So he did. 10 miles. That's a lot of swimming.
Yes, I am leaving tomorrow, and I think they're playing these. You go see a doctor in Taiwan. U.S. dollars, $3.
Yeah.
That must
I
be
said
nice.
it cost me $3 to get a Coca-Cola in the doctor's office.
Yes.
All right, do not miss. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. His favorite guy is Logan Paul. And Logan Paul he just got done, he just fought KSI. It was a great fight. It really was a good fight. He just fought KSI. It was a great fight. It really was a good fight. Everyone's got that habit. Mine's cleaning.
Really?
Cleaning.
Okay.
Hello, cleaning. He did Taekwondo for 4 years. But Taekwondo is good, but it's a dance. It's a dance. And if someone's gonna hit you, the dance ain't gonna work, man. You gotta know how to take it. So here, we hit and get hit. Because the two things you gotta learn: how to take a punch and how to throw a punch. And people think that's easy, but no. I've been on both ends, and you gotta know how to do it.
So there is a funny story. When I went to college in Harrisonburg, outside of DC, probably 2 hours from DC, I went to James Madison University. My freshman year, in one of my classes, I met a guy who was a year older and just started talking to him, and so he asked me out on a date. So we go out on a date to a fraternity party, and we're like, I'm nervous, I don't know him, he doesn't know me, I'm drinking a beer, trying to talk, and I said, oh, so where have you lived? And so we started talking, and he said, well, I actually lived overseas, I lived in Taiwan. I'm like, what? And I said, well, I lived in Taiwan too. So we just started talking. He lived in Grass Mountain. So it turns out, so we just started talking and talking. It's like the whole party's going on, but he and I are just talking about Taiwan. And he's a year older than me. So I'm like, so when were you there? And it was like the same time. So then I said, I don't even know this guy's last name. I mean, I just met him after class. And so I said, what is your name? And he said his name. And his dad was my dad's boss. When he said his name, I was like, I've heard that name. I just remember hearing it around the house. So back then you didn't have a cell phone. So I had to wait till Sunday to call my parents on a payphone. And I said, hey, I met this guy in college. And I told him the name. He's like, oh, I worked. And my mom's like, I know his mom. We came to Grass Mountain. I've been in his house. Just was really shocking. In fact, we dated for a little while. But but my parents, they stay in touch with him. That was the first time out of school that, somebody reminded me of Taiwan and the fact that we lived, that was just really pretty crazy. It was my brother and I, and some nights on the phone we would call, and he met Mike, and we would just talk about growing up in Taiwan, talk about, our experiences there. And we would laugh and then but at the end of the phone call we would say, oh, we were lucky. you know, that we had such a unique experience. And then I remember one night, kind of after we finished talking, I thought, I wonder if there's other people like that from my age group that are still out there. So I went to Facebook and I just typed in Taiwan in the late 60s, early 70s. And a group popped up called Remembering Taiwan. And so I went and looked at it, and the first thing, it was just a farmer with a water buffalo. And it just brought back, like just that one picture as the header, I was like, this is my group. Then for the next week, I was kind of obsessed with it, you know, and I kept going on and looking, and then I thought, well, I'm going to share some of my pictures too. And what was interesting is I had my yearbook from Taipei American School, and I started taking pictures of people in classes and stuff, and they're like, and someone's like, well, that's me, and they live in California. Oh, that's me, and they live in Texas. A lot of people live in California and Texas. A lot of people live in Hawaii too. So, but with Facebook, you know, it doesn't matter where you live. So someone finally said, hey, we're having a reunion in Nashville. And I said, well, I don't know anybody from my class. Everybody's gone. I didn't keep in touch. And they're like, well, you should come anyway. So I did. And at the end, one of the guys said, I'm an international travel agent, and I've been so moved by this, I'm going to have I'm going to put together a trip. This return to Taipei American School. That was the basis. After 40 years, I guess. I'd have to go back and look at that. And I was like, that's where I'm going. Because I've always wanted, I mean, my brother and I were like, oh, we should go back. But to go back by yourself and try to find things would be tough. And this guy said, I'm going to book the entire trip. You just have to sign up and pay money. I'm like, I'm in. And then I told my daughter, the younger one, she travels all the time. She's like, I'm in too. So at least I had somebody to go with me, which was good. And then when they said, oh, you're going to stay at the Grand Hotel, yes, you know, and then we'll go to Toroko Gorge, yes. And so it was a blast. So the big surprise was Taipei. I mean, when we went back, I just couldn't believe. I mean, it was like almost New York City. I mean, with all the shopping, I was so surprised, and I tried to keep, you know, telling Nicole, I'm like, this is not how Taipei was. Not how, you know, everybody was on a bicycle when I was there, or a motorbike, but mostly bicycle. The roads were bad. It was very. The big shock to me too. It was very dirty. When I was there, it was so dirty, trash, and we couldn't believe there's no trash in Taiwan. We just couldn't believe how clean. You know, still you have a lot of the residue from the air conditioning units, but the no trash was so visible to me. And then we took the train, I told you that one day, and we were watching people, and everybody took their trash and I guess took it home. I don't know. It really was impressive to us, and it was noticeable. And then I might even ask you, like, how did that happen? Because that wasn't how it used to be. And I guess there was a big initiative to do that. I was chewing gum on the train, okay? I wasn't even thinking. And Nicole wants to take public transportation. She really works hard. She's like, Mom, we're not gonna take the I'm like, let's take a taxi cab. No, we're gonna do the train. So she pushes me. It's kind of good because she will figure out the technology and make me come with her. So I get on the train and I'm chewing gum, and this lady comes up with a phone and sticks it in my face, and I was like, and what is she? But it was like a no gum. And Nicole's like, you need to get rid of that gum. She was yelling at me. I'm like, I didn't know what she was saying to me. And she just took a phone and just like kind of shoved it in my face. And it was very crowded in there anyway because I was chewing gum. So Nicole's like, I said, I got it, but I didn't know. So I was shamed on the train, definitely.
I learned, ni hao bu hao and ni hao ma. Duo Xiao Tian, when I went to Chinatown to haggle. Ni hao ma, zai yan pan yo. Funny, and sometimes I'll do that. We have Chinese people here, you know, that like go swimming there, and I'll walk up and say hao bu hao, and she'll look twice, you know. Not ni hao bu hao, but hao bu hao. That's more common, you know. And she'd look at me, and I kept asking her, Mayo Guanchi, couldn't care less. You know. How about this one? I don't know if I pronounce it right. This is the hotel that we stayed off. We would jump in the taxi. This is when we first arrived in Taiwan. We did not have housing yet. They put us in a hotel. So we would go to the club and that, and we'd jump in the taxi. And I jump in and say, hey, Suyu Taja. And the guy look at us and say, I say it right? I said, Suyu Taja. And then he said, oh, Suyu Taja. Yeah, I said, yes, that's what I just said. You know, Liberty House. That was the name of it. And the guy looked at us and said, what the hell are you talking about? Don't forget Gombe and Sui Bien. Oh, yeah, I remember those. Good God. Regular swim?
Yeah.
About 3 o'clock every day.
I would like to do it 3 times a week, at least that. But
yeah.
because of my leg and so forth, it's been very hard recently to do that.
Yeah.
When I was training for the North Carolina Senior Games, I was swimming maybe 4 times a week. I'm gonna hurt very much not to be able to go swim for a month. You know?
Okay.
I have to start all over again. Really, that's
Again, because first you had that.
Yeah, because of my my pacemaker.
And then now you have your leg.